G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. This is game number 3 between Hut and the Mista. Spawning in on the south side, playing as the Abbasid dynasty in the colour blue, we've got Hut. And to the north, in the colour red, playing as the Mongols, we've got the Mista. That is right, the Mista is back. He's taken a little bit of a break, a short hiatus, but he is back. And he's in top form, honestly. Watching him play, sometimes a little bit weird, sometimes a little bit wacky, a little bit unconventional, but you gotta say, it is just true blue Mista, and it's great to have him back. So let's talk a little bit about what we've got in front of you guys today, because this is Dry Arabia. We are in the final game in this series. This is a best of 3. As I mentioned before, the first 2 games, they've gone 1-1 so far, so this is the decider. And Mista is on the Mongols, a civilization that he considers to be a pretty damn good one. In fact, you'd probably struggle to find anyone who doesn't consider this to be a pretty good civilization, especially on these open maps. But let's talk a little bit about what we can expect to happen today, because we've got Hut playing as the Abbasid dynasty, and he's going up against the Mongols here, and this is a matchup that I would say at N4C, if you guys remember back to N4C, there was a very... I remember this one point where we were watching the Abbasid dynasty go up against the Mongols, and very much the tide turned. We're like, hold on a minute, the Abbasid dynasty absolutely just counters the Mongols in every single way. But we learn, we live, we learn, and these lessons eventually come, and a breakthrough was made, and now the shoe is on the other foot. It definitely feels like the Mongols has the Abbasid dynasty's number, at least at the moment. And now we see Mista dropping down a barracks in the base, looking to put on some early pressure. And I think this is definitely part of it, because a lot of people realize in this matchup that all you really need to do is hit the stone. You hit the stone and you're fine. You don't want to hit the gold. You don't want to hit the berries. You want to hit the stone. You hit the stone, you stop the stone, and you've got yourself an absolute game-winning plan. So we'll see if Mista goes for that strategy, whether he looks to implement something a little bit differently. But the whole idea behind going for that stone is that you're just going to force your enemy Abbasid player onto one town center for as long as possible. Behind it, you go for your stand. Oh my god, that is a big house of wisdom right there. You see that bad boy going down? Speaking of big, oh my lord, take a look at that. That is 15 sheep under the town center right now for Hut. I'm gonna have to call him the shepherd after this. That is a lot of sheep right there. But let's take a look at exactly how Mista is doing on that other side of the map. We do know that it is going to be a barracks coming out. You would suspect that a villager going to be coming out here as well on the way. We can see he's got 180 wood already stacked up in that bank. There's that villager now coming out as well. You can see he's got the lumber chopper in hand. Khan coming back now, going to be dropping off 7 sheep. So with that, you'd expect that pretty much every single sheep has been collected on the map now. Hut going to be moving out across the map, and keep in mind he's got 4 villagers on gold. These guys looking to try and get that wheelbarrow upgrade ASAP. Obviously, in the worst case scenario, it's just going to mean a fresh foodstuffs comes through. So at the very least, he wants to get that 125, and I'm pretty confident that he should be able to get at least that 125. But we'll see where Mista looks to go, and you can see it definitely seems like he might be going towards that stone. In fact, he hasn't even scouted his enemy's base. He's got no idea where he's going. He's going in blind. He's going in raw. Watch out. Now we see that villager coming in. He's just going to be looking to drop it down right here on the berries. I don't know whether an outpost has gone down. That villager's just moving around. He's going to head over towards that gold. Looks like the drop-off's going to happen. Doesn't actually have enough for that wheelbarrow. You can see he did try and time it. Do we have an outpost going down? Indeed we do. And look at that. Just pixel perfect stuff there from that villager. And now we have spears right next to it as well, and that's going to get spotted out by Hut immediately, and you could feel the sense of urgency in here. Interestingly, Mista does go for the gold here and looks to isolate that one first. I'm curious exactly how much he's going to look to move it around and whether he comes down towards the wood line here instead. But now going to be going up against this Abbasid player. We can see the scout luring away some of those spearmen, and he does indeed look to move down around this south side, so making it a bit of a smart move. Instead of going for that stone and preventing that second town center from coming up, he's just going to look to continue down around the eastern side of the base here, I suspect. We can see the spearmen moving down now, and I suspect outpost number 2 probably going to come up right here. We see an archery range drop down immediately, but it's going to take some time before those archers begin coming out. So essentially what he can do is look to try and get down that outpost immediately. And then that's going to be able to nullify this entire wood line. You can see Hut is just working overtime to try and get up. At the very least, he wants 350 wood, because that's going to buy him 1 archer, and then he can get that battering ram out. Now we see that outpost coming in on the backside of the on the backside of the wood line. So not going for a greedy position. Now, Hut's got plenty of line of sight here. We do see that Archer comes out, and you can see the Archer probably would have been able to deny this villager. Instead, that Archer turns around and now looking out towards the stone. Is that where he's going? No, now coming back out. Hut has realized. He does turn back towards this position. Keep in mind, plenty of sheep here. 13 sheep. He's got 15. He just murdered a couple. Villager probably going to be going down, or at least forced away from this position. He's going to have to cancel that outpost, at least for now. House going to be coming up as well. But, I mean, overall, you'd probably say that Mr. hasn't done a lot of damage here at this stage. Oh, excuse me. At this stage of the game, Mr. hasn't done a lot of damage. And in fact, his outpost rush has been denied. And so from here, what would you expect to happen? You would expect that Hut, now having, you know, established a pretty decent spot, he's going into archers, probably going to go into spears. He can look to try and take out this outpost here. It's going to be hard for him because there are going to be spearmen that may be nearby looking to jump inside. We can see them hovering around now. And so the difficult thing to do, or the big thing for him is looking to try and take this stone. That's exactly what he's going to be doing now. So mining camp going to be coming down on that bad boy. He's going to be looking to transition, and that's essentially why this outpost here is, or in my opinion, this is why this outpost here doesn't really mean much, because it doesn't deny the gold, because the Abbasid player's got all the gold that he needed. He skipped wheelbarrow. He got fresh foodstuffs, and now just goes straight into hardened spearmen. He doesn't need wheelbarrow. It's not a super big deal to have wheelbarrow. Obviously, you want it if you can get it, but if you can't, then it's not a big deal. But now Mr. Early Horseman as well, so going with double production in that Dark Age. Only 2 villagers tapping away at the Deerstone, so he's in no hurry to get up to the next age. Probably going to be a fast castle through from him. We can see from the way that he's macroing, it definitely seems like it's going to be the case. And the question is, how is Hut going to be able to deal with this? Because Hut from here, typically what Hut is going to want to do is look to get up his second town center as quickly as possible, and then try and determine exactly what Mr. is up to. And that means he's going to need to be spotting out the gold from Mr. He needs to check how many villagers are on this gold from Mr. And he's going to come in and see it now. And this should be an indicator. When he spots the villagers on the gold, that should be an indicator. Hey, I'm going fast castle. Hey, I'm going fast castle. So what does that mean? That means that Hut can now look at that and say, okay, you're going fast castle? That's fine. I'm going fast castle as well. And then from there, he moves the villagers from here. Or is he? Has he got enough? Okay, he's got enough. So from here, villagers now just going to be focusing on getting enough resources for that second town center, and then finally aging up to the castle age. The problem is that just that early little bit of aggression, you might not think that was a lot of aggression, okay? And to be fair, it wasn't. But you can see what's happened. It's forced a response. It's forced a big response here. There are 9 archers that have come out. Now, the spearmen, that's fine, because those guys double up as siege, and they counter lancers. They counter knights. The problem is these archers, pretty much useless. There's nothing that you can really do with this. You can go and put aggression down on the enemy, but there's realistically, you take a look at the Mongol player. I mean, he's got food under the town center. He's got gold under the town center. He's got wood under the town center. Like, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to achieve anything with archers, not against the Mongols, because they're going to be up to the castle age very, very quickly. But we'll check in over with the Mr. now, and you can see that step down is coming down. 8 minutes 40. Beautiful timing there for him. And it's going to be straight into castle age units. And the problem is that all of this wood was spent put into archers. Realistically, I know it sounds weird, but 1 archer is all you need. At most, 2 archers is all you need. Because that's going to be enough to repel that villager. We saw the villager go down over here, got chased away by the scout as well as by the 2 archers. And that's it. That's it. That's all you need that for. You don't need it for anything else. Obviously, we saw him also pick up this position here. But now Hut's going to be working to try and get up to the castle age as quickly as possible. But you can see he's behind quite a fair bit on where he should be. Because by this point, we're at 9 minutes right now. And he should have had that second town center up. And he should be well and truly on his way to castle age. When I say on the way to castle age, I don't mean to have actually clicked up just yet. But I would think he'd be a little bit closer than this. And the consequence of that big investment that you do see coming out from him is that realistically, it forces you to be behind, because now you've got to go and gather up all this extra wood because you spent so much extra wood out here on these archers. So what purpose do these archers serve right now? Well, let's take a look at the units that are coming out from Mr. It's men-at-arms. It's men-at-arms. Oh my god, he went for a proxy Uvu. Mr. goes for a proxy Uvu. Take a look at this. Oh my god, I've never seen this before. He remakes the Uvu and proxies the barracks right next to it. He's going for a proxy Uvu. Look at that. Oh, this is so smart. He takes the timing and now says, oh, instead of that window being like, he's just shortened the window by however long it takes to walk from here down to here. So 30 seconds? That's insane. And he's taken the ball with it as well. That is insanity. So now he's really forcing Hut. Hut, you can see, actually going for a wheelbarrow, also going for phalanx. Oh, this is painful because the timing here is going to hit Hut right in the gonads. This is not good. And this, it all goes back to this outpost. So you might not think, okay, Mr. didn't do much damage. No, he didn't do much damage. But you know what he did? He forced a response from Hut. He forced a response, and an over-response was issued because Hut wasn't sure. I don't know, am I fighting feudal? I don't know, am I fighting castle? I don't know, am I going to be fighting, you know, a longer dark age? I really don't know what's coming here. So I've just got to assume that there's going to be more units, and I've got to keep making more units myself. And the problem is, if you make too many, well, now you're behind, because the Mongol player, he has bought himself plenty of time, and now you have what we have got going on right here, which is that Hut is in a bit of trouble. He's got idle villagers out the wazoo. Men-at-arms are roaming through his base, heading over towards this secondary town center. And keep in mind, this second town center has been up for like 2 minutes. We see insufficient wood now coming through as well for Hut. All those resources he spent on archers, instead of sitting in the bank, they're sitting in the archers. And just remember, 4 ranged armor for those men-at-arms against 5 ranged attack. These guys do 1 damage to these men-at-arms. Yeah, 1 damage. It is barely anything. And now more men-at-arms coming in over on that gold mine. And you can just see Mr. is absolutely rampaging over the opponent right now. Hut is in dire straits. And it all goes back to this. I feel like this is just such a big thing because it really hits the timing here. So right now you can see Hut unable to age up. This entire time, Hut could have been aging up. But that extra 30 seconds that Mr. bought means that he's in the base 30 seconds faster. And now you can see he's camping on top of the resources. He's got 5 villages over on the gold finally, but he's losing villages as this game goes on. Villager count at the moment for Hut is 43. Compare that to Mr. who's on 40. Mr. going to start collecting relics behind this. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a marker drop down shortly, as well as a... Let's have a look and see if we can find the prayer tent. I don't see it just yet. We'll take a look back in the base. I still don't see it. Instead going for a blacksmith here. So I wouldn't necessarily say he's going all in, but he's definitely playing it a very aggressive style here. Men-at-arms still hanging out in the base, and you can see he barely takes any damage at all. +1 ranged armor has now come through, and he can just pretty much ignore everything that's going on. The age up has come through. We can see the age up beginning to come through. It's going to be the culture wing for Hut. But at this point in the game, I mean, he's just getting run around like a madman. We'll check back and see. There is the prayer tent now coming down. Honestly, I feel like market first probably makes a bit more sense in this position, but prayer tent, that's fine. Prayer tent on the Uvu as well is normally the go-to because you can get double of your shamans out. And obviously in this central position, it would have been absolutely amazing. But now looks like the cleanup really coming through. And good game just going to get called straight away. So Hut not even going to wait for his age up to come through. Fellas, the Mister is back and he is in absolute form right now. I hope you've enjoyed this very quick game, but I gotta say, what an absolute play coming out from Mr. This forward Uvu. Fellas, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.